Zara stepped into the old stone building of Hillcrest College, her eyes scanning the tall walls and quiet halls. She had just transferred here after something happened in her old school, something she didn't talk about. With a notebook clutched to her chest and headphones in her ears, she tried to look like she didn't care. But deep inside, she felt alone. In her first literature class, her eyes met someone unexpected. Miss Raina. She was not like other teachers. She spoke with calm confidence, and her voice was soft like poetry. Students admired her, but no one really knew her. As weeks passed, Miss Raina noticed Zara's sharp mind. Zara wrote essays with deep emotions, thoughts beyond her age. One day, Raina called her after class. "Your writing. It's beautiful," she said. Zara didn't smile, but her eyes held a silent thank you. There was something about Miss Raina, something hidden behind her warm smile. A sadness, maybe a secret. That night, Zara wandered into the college library. While searching for old poetry books, she found a worn-out diary tucked behind a shelf. The first page read, "I loved her," and that's where everything went wrong. Zara sat on her bed, the diary open in her hands. The handwriting was neat, but rushed in some places, like the writer was afraid someone might find it. As she read the first few pages, she realized the writer was a girl, a student, just like her. And the girl had fallen in love with a woman, a teacher. Each entry was filled with emotions, joy, confusion, fear. The writer never mentioned the teacher's name, only calling her R. Zara's heart beat faster. Could R be Raina? The next day in class, Zara looked at Miss Raina differently. The way she moved, the way her eyes avoided long stares, it all felt more mysterious now. Was there really a hidden story after class? Miss Raina handed Zara a book. "I think you'll like this one," she said with a soft smile. Their fingers touched for just a second. Zara felt something, a spark, maybe. Or was it just her imagination? Later that evening, she opened the diary again. The next line sent a chill down her spine. They warned me to stay away from her. But it was too late. Zara knew she had to read it all. Zara couldn't stop thinking about the diary. She hid it under her pillow, away from the eyes of her curious roommate. Every night, she read a few more pages. The writer's words felt real, almost too real. The way she described R, her gentle voice, her deep eyes, the warmth in her presence, it all sounded exactly like Miss Raina. The entries slowly turned darker. The writer talked about secret meetings, late-night talks in empty classrooms, and the fear of being caught. One sentence stood out to Zara. She said she loved me, but she was afraid. Afraid of what the world would say. Zara began noticing small things. Miss Raina sometimes looked out the window during class, like she was remembering something painful. Once, when Zara asked a question, Raina smiled, but there was a flicker of sadness in her eyes. One afternoon, Zara stayed behind after class. "Miss Raina," she said softly, "have you ever lost someone you cared about?" Deeply, Raina froze. For a second, the calm mask dropped. She looked at Zara and whispered, "Yes, a long time ago." Zara felt it, a story hidden in silence, and she was getting closer to it. The next few days, Zara kept her distance, but her mind stayed tangled in the diary and Miss Raina's words. She had to know more. The diary's final pages were torn out, leaving the story incomplete. Who was the girl? What happened to her? Why did she disappear? One evening, while browsing the back shelves of the library again, Zara noticed something odd. A book with a missing spine. Inside it, someone had hidden a folded paper. It was a letter, yellow with age. The letter read, "They said it was wrong, that I was ruining her life. But how can love ruin something when it feels so true? They threatened to expose us. She told me to stay away, to protect me. But I couldn't. I won't stop. It was signed with the same initial. L. Zara's heart raced. This wasn't just a love story. It was a warning, maybe a goodbye. That night, as she walked back to her room, someone slipped a folded note under her door. It had no name. Just one sentence. You're walking the same path. Be careful before it's too late. Zara stood still, the paper shaking in her hand. Someone was watching her. Zara couldn't sleep. The note haunted her. Who had written it? And why did it sound like a threat? She thought about telling someone, maybe the principal, maybe a friend, but a strange part of her didn't want to. She needed to understand the truth first. The next morning, Miss Raina didn't come to class. A substitute teacher stood in her place and said Raina had taken the day off. It wasn't like her. Zara's chest tightened. Was something wrong? Or was it because of her? After class, Zara returned to the library and rechecked the diary, flipping through the pages for anything she might have missed. Between two glued pages, she found something new. A photo. It was old, faded, but clear enough to recognize two girls in school uniforms. One of them was smiling brightly. The other one looked just like Miss Raina. Zara now knew for sure. Raina had a past no one talked about. As she stared at the photo, a voice behind her whispered, "You shouldn't have found that." Zara turned sharply. No one was there, but the photo was gone from her hand. She wasn't just reading a mystery anymore. She was inside it. Zara rushed out of the library, heart pounding. The photo had vanished right from her hand. It wasn't a dream. Someone was watching her, following her every move. But who and why? She wanted to talk to Miss Raina, but she hadn't returned. The substitute said nothing, only that Raina had taken personal leave. Zara didn't believe it. Something had scared her away. Later that evening, she walked to the old staff garden behind the college, where teachers sometimes sat alone. It was quiet, almost too quiet. As she turned a corner, she froze. Miss Raina was there. She sat on a wooden bench, arms crossed tightly, looking out at the trees. She didn't turn when Zara called her name. Finally, she whispered, "You found the diary, didn't you?" Zara stepped closer. "Was it about you?" Raina nodded slowly. Her name was Lara. She was bright, brave, and too in love to care about consequences. I tried to end it, to protect her, but she didn't listen. "What happened to her?" Zara asked, voice trembling. Miss Raina looked up, eyes full of old pain. She disappeared, and no one ever found out where she went. Zara's blood ran cold. This mystery wasn't over. It had just begun. Zara sat beside Miss Raina, the air thick with silence and buried memories. The garden felt colder now, as if Lara's ghost still lingered in its corners. "Why didn't you tell anyone?" Zara asked gently. Raina shook her head. "Who would believe me? A teacher in love with her student? They would have blamed me for everything. They almost did." Zara's heart ached. She could see it now, not just a forbidden love, but a tragedy wrapped in secrets. "Do you think she's still out there?" she whispered. "I don't know," Raina said. "But someone doesn't want that story uncovered. Someone's still watching." Zara remembered the note, the missing photo, the voice in the library. "They're trying to scare me," she said, "but I'm not going to stop." Raina looked at her, eyes wide with both fear and something deeper. Care, maybe even love. "Then you're in danger." Suddenly, a branch cracked behind them. Both turned sharply, but saw no one. Raina stood, her voice firm now. "Come with me. There's something I've never shown anyone." As they walked away together, Zara felt it. The line between past and present was fading. And someone was following them in the dark,